But the angel said to him, "Do not be afraid, Zechariah. Your prayer has been heard. Your wife Elizabeth will bear you a son, and you are to call him John."
I'm in the chancel of St Mary's, and behind you guys in front of me is the sanctuary, and that's a really important place for us as Christians. That's where we come to meet God in the bread and wine when we take communion. And in this story in the Bible, we meet Zechariah, who has just been into the Holy of Holies. That is where God dwelt for the people of Israel, in this kind of place like the sanctuary. And we know that's changed now. When Jesus died on the cross, the curtain was torn, and God's presence is now all over the world. But at the time, God was in this one place, and Zechariah was chosen by Lot to go in to serve and to pray and to light incense to God. Zechariah was a prayerful man with his wife Elizabeth. They were praying not only for their nation of Israel and all the people, they were praying for a baby, and they were persistently praying for a baby. This is one thing that they really wanted. God answered that prayer in such a spectacular way. Now, I spoke the other day about how God answers prayer, and not always in the way that we want to, and sometimes we don't understand how he answers that prayer. But we mustn't ever give up on our prayers. If we see it happen, and this is a thing for Zechariah and Elizabeth, they had that great hope of Abraham and Sarah, of God answering their prayer and giving them a baby, that they've seen it in the Bible, and so they prayed and prayed and prayed and prayed, and finally, in their old age, was given that great joy of having their son, John. This is about persistence in prayer and understanding that God might not answer the way that we wanted. They probably wanted a baby when they were in their 20s or 30s, not being so old, but their prayer was answered and they had great joy. There's a great preacher called D. Al Moody who prayed for 100 friends to become Christian. 96 of those friends became Christians within his lifetime. The last 4 became Christians at his funeral. That persistence in prayer throughout his lifetime was answered by 100 of his friends becoming Christian. And it wasn't during the time of his lifetime. 4 of them came Christian after. It's in God's time, but he will answer our prayer. Do you remember the Thy Kingdom Come prayer week? We as a church got these little bands at our services, and especially at the TGIS service, to put 5 knots in and pray for 5 people. You know, I pray for 5 people, family and friends, to become Christian. That prayer and this will be carried around for me, and it'll probably get worn out and I'll probably get a new one. But I will continually pray for each of them to become a Christian. I will continually pray for those good things that I know that are right to pray for. I pray, and it might not be in my lifetime, it might be after that I've gone, that each one of these people becomes a Christian. But God is hearing our prayers and he will answer. So let's take that example of Zechariah and of Elizabeth and Abraham and of Sarah, and those big things that we want, those big things that are right for God. Let's this Advent persist in prayer, and it might take every Advent for the rest of our lives, but let's pray and pray and pray for people's lives to be changed, or our lives to be changed by God answering them.